Hey guys, okay. This is a few hours later after I filmed my last video. But I have a sweater on, so I look different, right? Yeah, let me dream. Let me dream. I know, Foofy, I know. So we have the TBR that I couldn't get to in that one because it ended up being like an hour and 13 minutes. I have no idea how it's going to cut down because I haven't cut it down yet. I'll be doing that here soon. But I'm still I got books to share. I got books. So we have all the bookness and the booknosity and the stuffness, right? I know. Okay, if I pet you again, I know. And Neville says, "Oh, but pet me. What about me?" And Toothless is like, "No, me." These dogs, guys. These dogs. Okay. All right. Whoosh. No, you get down. Okay, so where to start? I get to put books away. I'm so happy. You know, because they come in and I put them on this shelf. But then it becomes kind of a mess. So if I get this done, I can take them all out to the back room, the library, the escape room, depending on which one to call it. And we got stuff. So where to begin? I guess I'm just going to grab and go and not try to be organized because why would I start now, right? No. Okay, so first up, it just arrived. I'm really excited. I did not own a Tangled Web, and this is the group read for Montgomery. And yes, because yes. So I don't even remember what this one's about. Ooh! But I do know that I just dropped my glasses. Dropped right onto the lens too. Huh. Boy. Gotta use some cotton to get the things clean. Okay. All right. So now that I've dropped my glasses, picked them up, cleaned them off, let's find out what this thing's about. If I recall correctly, this one has to do with, yeah, the jug, it's like family heirloom. It's the Dark family versus the Penhallows in this daring, witty, sarcastic, and sentimental novel by author of Anne of Green Gables. What will two feuding families do to win? It all begins with great Aunt Becky and her infamous prized possession, a legendary heirloom jug. After her death, everyone wants it, but the new owner won't be named for a year. Wait a minute, maybe I have read this. This is starting to sound familiar, which means I probably own it. Oh, forget it. Who cares? Anything it takes. Mayhem reigns and tables are turned in a year when everything feels topsy-turvy. One woman will lose her fiancé. Two enemies since childhood will inexplicably come together, and a couple mysteriously separated on their wedding night 10 years before will find a second chance at love. Then comes the night when Aunt Becky's wishes will be revealed, and the family is in for the biggest surprise of all. Okay, I have read this. I mean, I could, as I'm going, I could tell what it was going to say next. So I don't remember it as well as I should, obviously. But now I do remember it being really, yeah, it says it's sarcastic, witty and sarcastic. Yeah. And it's why I always think of the cream separator when I hear this book. So my grandma was an amazing woman. I just have to say, but she had a pretty, she had a flaw. Grandma was bitter about a cream separator. I heard about the cream separator in 1982. I was 12. And Grandma had lived in an apartment in Phoenix for as long as I could remember, almost. I do remember it around age 2, 3, somewhere around there, knocking on, I think it was a mobile home door, and Grandma coming out and being surprised. And that's when she gave me my bonnet. She had made me a prairie bonnet, one of the old slat bonnets. And for the slats, she had cut up a cereal box and then slipped it, sewn the channels and slipped it in to create the slat bonnet. I remember that very, very clearly. But Yeah, what can I say? She's honing in her weird memories, but still, it was a thing. But other than that very short time, when I think of Grandma, I think of her apartment on Osborne in Phoenix. That's where she lived, and I only went to one other house after she moved away from there just once. It would have been 1991. So we're not talking very long. It was almost, because in 88, she was still in Phoenix. So, you know, and why does this matter to you? It doesn't. Anyway, but I remember her telling me about this cream separator that she had loaned someone in the family and never gotten back. So I know at that point she had lived in that apartment in Phoenix for probably at least 15 years and hadn't lived in Oklahoma for probably 20. So she hadn't had a need for a cream separator, but she was still just riled about that cream separator. And I think of it every time I think of this book, and that's why, because the jug and the rivalries and the whatever. So anyway, Tangled Web, I got my copy. All of that, you didn't need all the family stories, but you got them anyway. Next up, I got, and this is not the order I got it, but I got The Color of Home by Kit Tosello. I talked with Kit about this on my podcast, and this is her debut novel. It takes place in Oregon, and the woman, it's like, I think it's romantic women's fiction, but I believe it's women's fiction. But it says the life she's designing may not be the life she's meant to live, because she's a home designer, and she goes home to help her mom. No, great Aunt Daisy. Okay, I thought it was her mom, but it's not. It's her great Aunt Daisy, whose husband has developed Alzheimer's, and, you know, she needs help. It says her feelings toward the idyllic small town are complicated. While she has many good memories of her childhood summers there, Charity Falls is also the place her father was killed in a tragic fire at the Sugar Pine Inn 13 years ago. And then it goes from there. So, yeah, looking forward to reading this. Kit was gracious, and I think we split the book. I paid for the book and she paid for shipping, or vice versa. But yeah, I was really excited to get this. And she and her husband own a tea company. They have a shop where you can go in and order a tea or buy teas. But, you know, so they develop their own tea blends. But they also have an online company, and I actually have a gift box, you know, prize box for the Christmas lights collection this year, the Evergreen Christmas. There'll be tea samples in there from her shop that I felt fit the town in my book and everything. So really excited about that. Yeah. Okay, and then I pre-ordered, I remember I said I was going to, Tea with Elephants by Robin Jones Gunn. And I love Robin Jones Gunn. I remember loving her Glenbrook series. And I know I've read other things by her, but that one in particular comes to mind. It had a kind of a Pacific Northwest meets Mitford sort of feel to it back in the day. Anyway, it starts with an African proverb on the back. If you want to travel fast, go alone. If you want to travel far, go together. Ever since Fern Espinosa and Lily Garden met as teenagers volunteering at a conference center in Costa Rica 20 years ago. That's a humdinger of a sentence, because we're not done. They have shared a friendship, even though they live in different states. 3 lines to that single sentence. They can hardly believe it when their teen dream of traveling to Africa together becomes a reality. It's the trip of a lifetime, but life sure isn't what they thought it would be back when they were young. Along with their suitcases, both women bring emotional baggage that weighs heavily on them. The two best friends slowly open up to each other about the challenges waiting for them back home. Soon they discover that the people they meet and the places they experience have the power to change their hearts, but only if they'll listen to the gentle lessons God is teaching them in this land of emerald tea fields, graceful giraffes, and rambunctious elephants. Get ready for an unforgettable adventure on a safari of the heart in this vulnerable exploration of how to move forward in faith even when the future is uncertain. Okay, I kind of feel like I need to apologize to Krista for some of the things I did, because that's a really hard thing to say. How to move forward in faith even when the future is uncertain. But yeah, so this one either just came out or is coming out. I think I talked to her on the podcast tomorrow. So we will learn more about it then, but I have my copy and I'm really excited. I'm just going to keep my glasses on. I have this habit of taking them off because I don't use them, but I do if I'm reading. Okay, so I got 2 of these deliberately. This was actually a deliberate 2. So this is Waiting for Christmas by Lynn Austin. It is, I don't want to say it's a sequel because that's not really fair, but it follows, so it is a sequel, but to her All My Secrets that came out last year. And it's kind of like, to me it feels, it's going to be kind of a Christmas Carol without the ghosts meets kind of The Little Match Girl and Miracle on 34th Street and all that stuff just kind of smashed together. So it says, the year is 1901 and the hustle and bustle of the holidays is descending on New York's Fifth Avenue. For the first time in her privileged life, Adelaide Forsyth couldn't be happier about the prospect of a quiet Christmas. That is not to say her transition from Miss to Mrs. has been without challenge. Though she doesn't regret marrying for love instead of wealth, she feels woefully unprepared to run her own household. Then, on the first Sunday of Advent, winter winds bring surprising things. First, through a young orphan boy, and then a seasoned housekeeper who seems too good to be true. The boy, Jack, claims he isn't an orphan at all and is desperate to reunite with his family. While Adelaide and her husband work tirelessly to solve the riddle of Jack's story, Adelaide's new endeavor opens her eyes to a world beyond her past experience and all the possibility it holds. As Christmas approaches, small glimmers of wonder light the way toward answers Adelaide seeks, and the most miraculous gift of all. Da, da, da. So I bought 2 because Amazon was having a buy one, get one half off sale. And I went ahead and did it because I thought I'll have one for me because Christmas Story and me. And then I'll have one as like a hostess gift / last second Christmas gift for this year. So I do like to do that. And I'm really, really big on books for hostess gifts. You go to someone's house, they have they have you over for something, or you have a kid who is going to someone's house and they're doing something, or like my daughter has a bunko group that she does. If this month was their thing, I could give her that to use for it, and then the cash that she uses to buy the prizes she could use towards something else, something nicer. Each thing could be a little nicer, whatever. So I always like to buy those things when there's a good deal like that. Then I was wandering through Walmart, and I always go look at the book section when I'm in Walmart, because if there is a book that I'm planning to buy anyway, that is Christian fiction, and sometimes there is, I want to buy it, because the more I do that, the more of that they will get in. So I always look, and if it's something I would have bought anyway, I'll buy it there, definitely. They didn't have one, but they had this, and I've never read Ruta Sepetys. But I've never heard anything other than amazing things about it. And I love the idea. It says, A House of Secrets, The War of Codes, the Bletchley Riddle. And this is 2 authors. I've never heard of him. Doesn't mean anything. It just means I haven't heard of him. But it says, what good is a story that can never be told? On the back. And so I started reading. And it says, remember, you are bound by the Official Secrets Act. Well, I mean, obviously, Bletchley. I knew it was going to be whatever. But it says, December 1940, 19-year-old Jacob Novus and his quirky younger sister Lizzie share a love of riddles and puzzles. And now they're living inside of one. The quarrelsome siblings find themselves amid one of the greatest secrets of World War II, Britain's eccentric code-breaking factory at Bletchley Park. As Jacob joins Bletchley's top minds to crack the Nazis' Enigma cipher, 14-year-old Lizzie embarks on a mission to solve the mysterious disappearance of their mother. And I'll just stop there because, I mean, that's enough for me. That's enough for me. So I had to get it because even if it's not Christian fiction, I want Walmart to get good stuff. And I've never seen anything by her there at ours ever. And I see different things in different places. I mean, I've seen Pepper Basham's books in some. If ours got it, I would buy it. I've seen Jessica Patch's book in ours, so I bought it because I wanted to support that. But they mostly stick to love-inspired and love-inspired suspense for Christian fiction, but not only. And so, and unfortunately, the other stuff that they tend to buy tends to be straight-up romance. And it's not what I usually would be buying, so I don't. But I thought it was, and it's a beautiful book. It wasn't all that expensive either for a hardback. I thought that was kind of funny. But this one does have, let me see if I can find it. It does have pictures and little Cody kind of thingies, and there's, yeah, I'm ready for it. I am ready. Oh, I never did look underneath the, it's pretty plain. But, you know, had to look and make sure because sometimes they're cool. I didn't think it would be at Walmart, but you never know. You never know. So, yeah. Looking forward to that. This one, guys, I can't wait to read this. And my friend read it and loved it. And so I know that it's not just like all in my head. I even have a little note from the author. But this one, Christmas in the Castle Library by Anne Swindell. I think this is her debut novel, not her debut book. I believe she's written, I could be combining authors though, so work with me here. But I think she has written nonfiction, like devotional things, but this is her first book. Pretty sure. Anywho, but in this one, this is a contemporary story. This is not a split time even. This is a contemporary story. But it takes place in a castle in a non-existent place. It says, Ellie Sawyer has always felt more comfortable with books than people, which explains why she's a PhD history student, neck deep in research and trying to complete her doctoral dissertation in time to graduate. But the final books she needs are half a world away in the tiny European kingdom of Leathersby. And the only time she can access the secretive Royal Castle Library is during the Christmas holiday. Ellie's determined to get to the bottom of the mystery that has eluded Leathersby scholars for more than 100 years. Okay, this is weird. It says more than 100, the number 100 years. By figuring out what happened to their long-lost queen, a young royal who disappeared shortly after the outbreak of the First World War. With the help of Mark, a handsome castle staff member. There you go, Krista. A handsome castle staff member who shares her love of history, she might be able to unravel the queen's story. But Mark is keeping his own secret from her, and what they discovered together could change everything for Ellie and the entire kingdom. So, come on. Christmas in the Castle Library. It has Christmas, and it has castle, and it has library. It's like a triple threat. So, yeah, really, really excited to read that, and that's definitely going to be a this Christmas thing. Also, while I did show before now, I do have a copy of The Blooming of Delphinium that I am going to give away because I pre-ordered it And then Holly was gracious enough to send me a copy. I'm pretty sure this is the copy I ordered. I don't want to lose my, I don't know where my trash can went. I don't want to lose my signed copy. But yeah, so this is book 2 in Moonberry Lake. I've already told about it, but this is, I'll read the back anyway, why not? Making the perfect match is like arranging the perfect bouquet, and no one is better at that than Delphinium Hayes, except when it comes to making a match for herself. As far as hidden talents go, she is blessed with one of the more unique ones. With the slightest passing whiff, she knows someone's most admirable or weediest characteristic. This peculiar perception never fails to give her an advantage in understanding people, except for one man whose scent doesn't seem to match his demeanor. Prim and proper Elliot Springs, director of Moonberry Lake's Gardens Assisted Living and Senior Center Facility, carries the scent of violets, meaning love and loyalty, yet is strict and unwavering in his determination to stop a group of his wily residents from sneaking over to Delphinium shop to play cards in the flower cooler. But the more glimpses Delphinium gets of the soft side beyond Elliot's harsh exterior, the more she understands his scent, and her intrigue deepens as sparks fly. The crowd in the cooler isn't Delphinium's only problem. Behind on the mortgage payments and on the verge of losing her shop to foreclosure, Delphinium isn't sure where to turn for help. But God has a funny way of putting the right people in the right place at the right time. And yeah, that's exactly what this book is like. It's just such a... I'm not done, but it's such a delight. And I think that's why I keep just reading a little bit and closing it. This is one that I'm not wanting to end, which is really dumb. We're going to have book 3 next year. You know, come on. The podcast episode for this one just came out. I'll try to remember to listen. Listening to her talk about these characters is hilarious. It's just so much fun. So yeah, if you want to get Holly's take on that, should be in the description if I remember. All right. And then my copy of Specters in the Glass House came in. Everyone knows about this one. Jamie Jo Wright, and look, it's got all my little goodies. But this is the one about the butterfly killer and them trying to find out what's going on. And yeah, all the things. I mean, we know it's Jamie Jo, it's Scooby-Doo. If I recall correctly, there is a kind of a seance in the beginning of this, and there's like an actual discussion of the appropriateness of that, which is really cool. And I think this one also has some difficult subjects. Can't remember. I know Jamie Jo and I talked about it, but I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast when we talked about her last book, or if I can't be sure. Or if I just heard someone else talk about it. I know we talked about this, but I can't remember what all. And I don't remember if it was spoilery stuff, so I'm not going to say. But there's more to that one, obviously. And I thought I had not bought this book. But apparently I did. Because after my last book haul, where I said I didn't have the first book in this series, I hadn't bought it yet. Well, look what comes to my door. So apparently I did buy it, and I just didn't remember. Oh, well. So, The Eagle of the Ninth by Rosemary Sutcliff. This goes with The Silver Branch and The Lantern Bearers are the other ones in this series. But it is the Eagle series of something. But this is kind of, this is like ancient Rome, but I think in England. So I think it's around the time... It's not quite so ancient because I think it's around the time that Rome is leaving England. But this is the first book. So now I can actually read this series. Looking really forward to that. It says, the 9th Legion marched into the mists of northern Britain, and they were never seen again. 4,000 men disappeared, and the Eagle standard was lost. Marcus has to find out what happened to his father who led the 9th Legion. So he sets out into the unknown on a quest so hazardous that no one expects him to return. So yeah, looking forward to that. Oh, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Okay. So then yesterday, this one came in. As sure as the I is unspeakable. As Sure as the Sea by Jaime Ogle. She's the one who wrote Of Love and Treason. She's the one who wrote Of Love and Treason about St. Valentine, and I believe that this one is about St. Nicholas. Let's find out, shall we? Oh, brother. Eastern Roman Empire, AD 310, or is it 20? There's a glare. I think it's, well, it's maybe 300. I'm gonna do this because I really can't see it well with the glare. It's not working. In the shadow of the Roman Diocletian's anti-Christian edicts, Demetria makes a meager living harvesting coral and pearls for a merchant who turns a blind eye to her faith. By night, Demi goes upriver with her brother Theseus. Or is it Theseus? I don't know. It's one of those. Or something entirely different. Anyway, to obtain provisions for fellow believers in the port city of Myra. While willing to risk her own life to ensure others are safe and fed, Demi lives with a desperate fear for those. Okay, there's something, because it's like there was a hyphen between for and those, and I can figure it out. A little spot on the book. Anyway, desperate fear for those she loves and carries secret shame over her greatest failure. When Theseus is injured in a diving accident, all seems lost until a stranger named Nicholas appears on the beach and offers help. Arriving in a sinking boat, Nicholas is burdened by guilt over his older brother's tragic death. Though the wealth he inherited from a prosperous shipping business now rests at the bottom of the sea, as new pastor in Myra, he is determined to recover it and use it for good. As the violence against Christians increases, Demi helps Nicholas retrieve his lost fortune and distribute it to those in dire need. Despite wondering if she can ever be worthy, Demi is drawn to Nicholas and longs to trust in his belief that freedom can be found in forgiveness. Then, one terrifying night, everything changes as the Roman Empire's fury rains down. Demi has no other choice but to decide if she has the courage to do what she once failed, and if the faith she calls her own is sure enough to carry her. So, yeah. You don't think about Saint Nicholas being having anything to do with the sea. So I thought that was really cool. Really looking forward to reading this one. Of Love and Treason was my most anticipated read for this year. And guess what? I still haven't read it. So it's kind of like my in the background. It'll either get like woven in this month or next month just because I really want it so bad. I think I'm talking to her soon too. So that'll be good. Then I just talked with MD House, which is kind of funny to think about his name, who wrote the Barabbas trilogy. And he's written, I think, a science fiction, if I remember correctly. But he also just came out with the first book in a fantasy series. Look at this. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm just like, it's so pretty. But it is Crossroads of Awakening Memory. It's the series is the End Times Convergence, and even the inside is pretty. He signed it for me. Aww. I have to share because this is so cool. He signed the book to me, and I'm just like, can you even read that? I can't tell. But yeah, that's just so cool. Anyway, like the chapter headers are really pretty. I really like them. But anyway, so this book, I will try to remember to put that episode in the description. But this book says, to young trainee Rain Barron, becoming a council guard in bucolic New Haven will secure a positive future that involves neither farming nor any real fighting. impressing his girlfriend's skeptical parents, and overcoming a handful of bullies among the trainees, along with the inexplicable intensity of his trainer, a decorated warrior from the East, are his greatest challenges, or so he believes. A rare and ruthless bandit attack marks the beginning of the mayhem that engulfs Rain's childhood home and sees him on an unimaginable path that includes his own magic, talismans that enable travel to other worlds, griffins and dragons, ancient nemesis thought to be long extinct, and even elves of the fairy tale as real as the dwarves. Amid a besom of chaos and doubt, Rain must work with members of a mysterious ancient order to piece together a growing convergence of clues long prophesied, all while trying to figure out his place in the madness. Only one thing is certain: he is not ready. I love this so much. I love the cover. It's so beautiful. And it was really funny. When I went to put when I went to put the links in for the show notes on that episode, I saw that the hardback was available. So I popped it in my cart, and then I went to do that. I was going to do that after I got all done with it. Well, I got sidetracked, and I had sent him his links and everything. So I sent him that email. Well, he wrote back before I went back to my cart and said, I want to send you a hardback. And I was like, oh, I will take that. I will take that hardback. Usually I would have been like, oh, I'll buy it. I'm totally happy to buy it. And I am. I am happy to purchase and support. But that was the week when all the gas mess started happening. And I'm like, you know what? $5,000 spent in 1 week between that and the breaks and everything. I'll take that gift. Thank you. And then he sent it with such a sweet little note. So yeah, I'm eager to read that one, but I am planning to save that for January. That's actually a book that I want to read in January. Feels like a January book, either January or October, but I don't want to wait till October. So I'm going with that. Okay, so next I talked to Jenny Gossel. I think her last name was Chastine before she got married. She got married in the middle of the the publication of this to now. So, and it's not been out that long. This was 2023, I think. Yeah. So this was fall of 2023. There's another volume 2 that just came out. And, so somebody is very graciously sharing their I think it's called music with us. I think that's what they call that stuff. So anyway, this is Voices of the Future, Stories of Family and Fearlessness. Most of the stories in this one are fantasy or spec fic of some sort. But I know there is one that isn't, for sure. But this is put out by the Author Conservatory, which, according to Jenny, started like during the pandemic. Like it was the first thing she was trying to decide, what to do for school and everything. And then this came out, that this conservatory, this Author Conservatory came out where they could learn how to write well, how to market well, how to do all the aspects of, the publication process for an author. So it's just like authoring, but it's an actual course. You actually go through it. You actually get graded. It's the whole 9 yards. This Author Conservatory is put on by one of the Harris brothers. I think it's Brett. And Kara Swanson, who wrote Dust and Shadow and something else recently. I can't remember what the most recent one is. But they know what they're talking about, and these people have gone through it. Well, one way that the students earn money to go to conferences is through these collections of short stories that they put together, and then the money, gets put into an account. And so it helps them pay for their stuff as well as like scholarships and things. So I was really excited about that. So her story in this one is People of the Rain, and she told me about you know, how her story and her little world works. And it sounds amazing. And she told a little bit about, you know, what she's working on now and what she's doing now. I'm really excited to get more from her. But I'm also excited. I ordered this book from her, but I want to get volume 2. This is volume 1, and volume 2 just came out or is just about to come out. We're right in the coming out period. I think it was sometime in early November. So I want to get that one. But isn't this cover just stunning? And get this, according to her, all the elements on this cover represent something within the stories, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, I'm really, really, really excited to read that. And this one I think I'm actually going to keep in here and just, you know, pull it out and read a story every now and then, because why wouldn't I, right? So very excited, very excited. It says the inaugural edition of Voices of the Future weaves together short stories of family and fearlessness in a memorable and heartwarming collection. Experience the next generation's creativity and vision through the tales of hope and belonging from rising young creatives. It includes Olivia G. Bloom. No, is it Booms? I think it's Booms. Jenny Chastain Gossel, Rachel Elizabeth, Hope Yan, Cara Peregrino, Madigan Thompson, Abby Lynn Voss, Valari Westerin. I can't read it. Westerin, I think. And Amy having trouble with the color on the color and that light and my glasses. They're not coming. But Amy, bless her heart, wrote The Colors of Grief. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this one, but this one's actually going to stay in the house so that I can actually start on that. I might even read the first story tonight, right? Because it's short stories, it won't take very long. And then I got from Ashlyn Mikayla, who writes romantic women's fiction. She has the Climbing Higher series about the sisters. There's 3 books, really good series. This is High Country Hymnal. It says poems for the mountains, valleys, and the in-betweens, but it's not just poems. It's, are you ready to wander and wonder in the mountains? Join award-winning author and self-proclaimed mountain girl Ashlyn Mikayla as she explores the majesty, mystery, and utter miraculousness of the high country. This collection of lyrical poems, prayers, and contemplations, yes, I knew it was more than just poems, not only celebrates mountains in a geographic sense, but also provides an honest yet hopeful perspective on the spiritual terrain through which we all journey. Through stunning original photographs and deeply heartfelt writing, you'll come face to face with the breathtaking glory of not only the mountains, but also the high country to which faith will lead. So, isn't it a beautiful cover? I love it. And there you go. Isn't it pretty? I like the idea that there's, you know, whatever. So all but one of the photos in here were taken by either her or her parents. One was taken by a friend who let her use it with permission. Testimony, mountain year, blue moon. And then there's like September 26th. I've been adopted by the high peaks where God has healed my soul and rechristened me again. Vision and dream. Thinner air, moose muse. Moose are comic relief who take themselves so seriously. That's a really good way to describe a moose. Pika, white collar cage. The Rockies in the fall. Levi. Black light love. God-forsaken place. October 8th, I fell in love with Jesus, dancing with him across his high peaks. But then there are these poems and lyrical writings. They're just November 27th. These are so your mountains, Mom said earnestly tonight, and she's right. I was thinking today as I watched them against the horizon while we left, how different my life would have been had we not come back here. The mountains have been the anvil against which El Shaddai has shaped my life, and I am so grateful. So this is just, I feel like, I think I'm actually going to leave this one out here too. I feel like this is a good November book, just a book of gratitude. It feels like that's what this is. you know, I read 3-4 pages a day and I'm through the book. So I think I'm going to do that. I think that's going to be my November thing. I haven't started one yet, but that's what's going to be. And last, but certainly not least, I feel like I owned this book before, but I can't find it. And I saw this copy of Nobody's Girl by Hector Malot, and I had to get it. This one is a girl and her mother are penniless and starving and go into Paris, and life isn't good. And I feel like her mother may die in the story. I'm not sure. But she manages to try to find a way to eke out an existence without stealing to survive. And I think that was part of the point of it. I believe there's a lot of faith in here, if I recall correctly. But I wanted to reread it. It's got beautiful pictures. But it definitely, obviously, it takes place in France. And I think it was originally written in French and has been translated. But yeah, it's a couples in Lyon. But see, Rosemary, which is one of my favorite couples in Lyon books by Josephine Lawrence. And then Nobody's Girl. So it says, noble-minded little Perrine, left destitute and alone in the slums of Paris, must find her rich grandfather several days' journey away, or no one knows what might happen to her. Even when she finds him in the midst of his great factories, he may hate her because he had driven her father away from home and disinherited him. How she had the courage to go on and on until she reached Maricourt and obtained work in her grandfather's factory, and at last found a way into his heart, is through every step a story of the most absorbing interest to all lovers of childhood. So it's kind of like a French Oliver Optic or Horatio Algiers. That's a really good way of putting it. It's a beautiful copy, very tight. There's this discoloration in the hinge gap, but I think I'm going to attempt a little bit of cleaning to see if I can get that out. You know, dry baking soda on a dry Q-tip and see if it'll come out. Not wet, dry, all very dry. But I'm going to try it because it would be really nice if I could clean this properly. I might also use a dry magic eraser on the dirty spots, but I don't want to get it anywhere near the bowl. But yeah, so I'm really excited to have a nice copy. This will look very nice on my shelf with my Josephine, and yeah, looking forward to it. So yeah, I have a few books here, just you know, half a couple dozen. Okay, edit, insert. This came in just hours after I finished filming, so I wanted to share the cover as well, since I've already talked about it a little bit. This is Kissletoe Misses by Joanne Markey. I got my copy. Isn't it beautiful? Got my copy today, and it's a beautiful book. Absolutely love it. And yeah, so this is the one about the gal who had the ex-fiance who cheated on her. She broke up. She goes to work her grandma's Christmas village, and look, he's putting up the mistletoe. I just caught that. Family was sneaking around and putting up mistletoe all over the place. But, and yeah, so it's definitely a rom-com, but there's depth to it. And there's definitely a chapter 4 in here, but I don't recall there being any chapter 4s in chapter 4. Just saying. Okay, so technically I have 15 new books here, but one of them is this duplicate that I'm going to take off because it's one less that can fall down and create a mess. Okay, here goes. We're going to try this. Oi, 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 oi. Goodness, these are heavy. This is it. This is what I got this month. And boy. Oh boy. I'm just going to set these down and say, yeah. Did you get any new books that you haven't thrown around like I am? Yeah, it's nice. I got a few. Just a few. And yeah, so Monday is Veterans Day. I think I get to go out of town and visit a friend. I'm really excited about that. Meanwhile, I have some writing to do, some planning to do, and obviously some editing to do. So I'll get to that and let you guys have your day back. Just let me know if there's books that I am missing that I need to add to the ever-widening collection. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.